Australia, a land that sits at the edge of the world, vast and mysterious, calling out to dreamers and adventurers alike. The very name conjures visions of untamed beauty, endless stretches of red earth, ancient rocks that have stood for millennia, and seas that shimmer in every shade of blue. Here, the land tells stories older than memory, and every horizon promises something new. I've wandered through many corners of the globe, but nowhere have I felt the same sense of wonder as I do in Australia. Its magic is both wild and gentle, a place where solitude feels like a gift and every journey is an adventure waiting to unfold. Kangaroos leap across sun-drenched plains, their shadows stretching over the grass. Koalas doze high in eucalyptus trees, undisturbed by the world below. Beneath the waves, the Great Barrier Reef bursts with colour and life, a living mosaic of coral and fish that seems almost otherworldly. This is the Australia we celebrate, a land of adventure, where families explore ancient forests, hikers lose themselves in the bush, and kayakers glide through crystal clear waters. It's a place where nature and people are deeply connected, and every day brings a new discovery. Yet, beneath this timeless beauty, a quiet transformation is taking place. The land, though resilient, is not immune to change. The tide creeps ever higher, slowly eating away at the cliffs. Shorelines crumble, and the ground beneath our feet shifts in ways that are easy to miss, but impossible to ignore for those who call this place home. While we marvel at the wild outback and the energy of bustling cities, a hidden crisis is quietly unfolding. The contrast between untouched wilderness and the encroachment of human activity is growing sharper every year. Some parts of this remarkable landscape are, quite literally, disappearing. Beaches that once stretched for miles are now shrinking, and coastlines are being redrawn by the relentless force of nature. You might not notice a beach growing smaller or a coastal town's ground slowly sinking, but for the people who live here, and for the wildlife that depends on these habitats, the impact is immediate and deeply felt. This is a story written in the language of erosion, rising waters, and shifting earth. It's a story that unfolds quietly, but its consequences are profound. To truly appreciate the wonder of Australia, we must also recognise its vulnerability. The beauty we see today is precious, but it is not guaranteed for tomorrow. The land is speaking to us, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in warning. Will we listen before those whispers become a desperate cry for help? The future of these iconic landscapes, from the rugged cliffs of the 12 Apostles to the beaches where children play, depends on our awareness and our awareness and our awareness and our willingness to act. The choices we make today will shape the Australia we leave for generations to come. Along Australia's eastern coast, the crisis is visible. Here, the relentless power of the ocean meets the fragile edge of the land, and the effects are impossible to ignore. Each year, the coastline is redrawn by the forces of nature, and the scars left behind tell a story of change and uncertainty. In places like Sydney's northern beaches and Queensland's Sunshine Coast, rising seas and stronger, more frequent storms are reshaping the land. Once wide, golden beaches are now shrinking, battered by surging tides and relentless waves. The familiar landscape is being transformed before our eyes, and the pace of change is accelerating. Beaches shrink, waves threaten homes, and the sense of security erodes. For many, the ocean that once brought joy and prosperity now brings anxiety and loss. Coastal communities are forced to adapt, building seawalls and reinforcing dunes, but the ocean's advance is relentless. For locals, it's not just property at risk, it's a way of life. The beach is where families gather, where memories are made, and where generations have grown up. Now that heritage is under threat, and the uncertainty weighs heavily on everyone who calls the coast home. In the Torres Strait Islands, rising seas inundate ancestral lands, contaminate water and wash away sacred sites. The ocean's encroachment is not just a physical loss, but a spiritual one, as centuries-old traditions and connections to the land are put at risk. For these islanders, it's an existential threat to culture and history. The land and sea are woven into their identity, and as the tides rise, so too does the fear of losing irreplaceable heritage. Communities gather to share stories and seek solutions, but the challenge is immense. Inland, in regions like the Murray-Darling Basin, decades of water extraction cause the ground to sink, affecting rivers and farms. Here, the crisis is different, but just as severe. Droughts parch the earth, riverbanks collapse, and the future of agriculture is uncertain. Whether by ocean or human hands, the land is changing. The contrast between the battered coast and the parched interior reveals a nation under pressure from all sides. The environment is sending a clear message. The balance we once relied on is shifting. Our actions, even far from the coast, have lasting consequences. Choices made in cities and on farms ripple outward, shaping the fate of distant landscapes. The interconnectedness of Australia's environment means that no community is truly isolated from the impacts of change. The crisis is not isolated. It's a national story. From the far north to the southern shores, from bustling cities to remote outposts, Australians everywhere are feeling the effects. The challenges may differ, but the need for action unites us all. Australia's landscapes and the communities that depend on them are at a crossroads. Across the country, people are coming together, restoring dunes, replanting forests, and reimagining how we live with the land. The choices we make now will shape the future for generations to come. The question is, what will we do next? Will we rise to the challenge or let the tides of change wash away what we hold dear? The answer lies in our hands, and the time to act is now. Why is this happening? It's a mix of powerful forces, some natural, some human-made. Climate change is the main driver. Melting ice sheets and expanding warm oceans raise sea levels. For Australia, with its vast coastline, the impact is direct. But local actions matter too. Building on the coast and removing natural barriers like mangroves leaves the land exposed. Extracting groundwater causes the ground to sink, subsidence, making rising seas even more dangerous. Natural erosion has always shaped Australia, but now human activity is accelerating the process. More frequent storms, fueled by a warming climate, speed up the damage. These forces, rising seas, human development, and intensified erosion, combine to create today's crisis. Each factor amplifies the others. Understanding this web is the first step toward real solutions. Why is this crisis so quiet? The change is slow, centimetres a year. So it rarely makes headlines. Media focus on dramatic events, not gradual shifts. For many, the threat feels distant or abstract, especially far from the coast. Communities may downplay risks to protect tourism and property values. This silence, born of habit and fear, lets the problem grow. But ignoring it won't make it go away. We must break the silence and face the truth together. The consequences touch everything: nature, people, and culture. Coastal habitats like mangroves and turtle nesting beaches are squeezed between rising seas and development, threatening countless species. The loss ripples through the ecosystem, unravelling a delicate web of life. For people, homes and infrastructure are at risk, along with heritage and identity. Imagine a fishing village losing its harbour, or sacred lands washed away. For tourists, the promise of pristine beaches and vibrant reefs fades as landscapes degrade. The travel industry, vital to Australia's economy, depends on healthy environments. The ultimate cost is losing these wonders for future generations. These places are part of our shared heritage. Will we let them become just memories and photographs? The time to act is now, before the loss is permanent. Let's remember what's at stake. Australia is a continent of breathtaking diversity, a living museum of evolution. From Ullaru's ancient presence to Tasmania's wild coasts and Ningaloo's turquoise reefs, the land inspires awe. These are more than destinations. They're profound encounters with nature. Even the outback, harsh and beautiful, teems with unique life. Every part of this land tells a story of resilience and wonder. This is the Australia we risk losing. It's not just scenery. It's a living, interconnected system. Losing any piece is like tearing a page from a book that can't be replaced. The beauty of Australia is a gift and a responsibility. It demands our protection. The challenges we face are immense, and at times they may seem overwhelming. But even in the face of uncertainty, hope remains, rising each day like the sun over our vast and beautiful coastline. It is this hope that fuels our determination and guides our actions. The future of Australia is unwritten, an open canvas shaped by the choices we make today. Every decision, big or small, leaves a mark on the land and the lives of those who come after us. We can't stop the tide, but we can work with nature, learning from its rhythms and respecting its power. By restoring mangroves, regenerating dunes, and nurturing native habitats, we create living barriers that protect our shores and support countless species. Building wisely, using sustainable materials and innovative designs, can help shield our communities from storms and rising seas, while preserving the natural beauty that defines our coasts. It all starts with paying attention. Notice the subtle signs of change along the shore, listen to the wisdom of local communities and Aboriginal elders, and become active observers of the world around you. Awareness is the first step toward caring, and caring leads to action. Share what you learn with friends and family. Conversations spark change, and collective knowledge empowers us all to make better choices. Encourage our leaders to invest in renewable energy, sustainable infrastructure, and coastal protection. Support policies that prioritise the health of our environment and the resilience of our communities. Think long term. Plan for the world our grandchildren and their children will inherit. Every action we take today shapes the legacy we leave behind. This is a challenge for all humanity, transcending borders and backgrounds. Together, united in purpose, we can make a difference. Australia has the opportunity to lead the way, setting an example for the world in how we care for our coasts and our communities. The fate of this land is tied to our own. When we protect our shores, we protect our homes, our heritage and our future. Every small act, picking up litter, planting a tree, or simply choosing to tread lightly, helps safeguard Australia's shores. In doing so, we protect a part of ourselves. Let's promise not to stand by in silence. Let's raise our voices, take action, and inspire others to join us. Let's be the generation that listened, learned, and took responsibility for the world we share. Let's be the ones who cared deeply, acted bravely, and worked together to restore what was lost. The beauty we save today will be our greatest legacy, a gift to future generations, and a testament to our shared responsibility.